So I got these cool gloves. Neighbor gave them to me. I guess they're the kind you use when you're trying to fuck with your tablet or your phone or your computer, but you want to have warm gloves on. So, and they work really good. Pretty expensive. I don't know. He claims they're pretty expensive, but I don't know, man. They just feel really good. Definitely, you can feel some compression in there, which is awesome because it makes your because I got some issues with osteoarthritis, and but as a warlock, you're not really supposed to infect yourself with fixing your body because once you do that, you get discovered through the AI system that you're trying to modify your aches and pains, which could also mean some other things. So you're basically, put in the corner and you have a dunce hat on for a little bit. That's you get you can get cut off for being stupid about things, right? So it's just temporary. It's just like, hey, you're misbehaving type of deal. Okay, so always heat your hands up in the shower, even though it's more comfortable to feel the heat on your neck and your back. Um, Sometimes it may not be for other people. Maybe they just like to warm their legs up first. But if you warm your hands up first, your toes should heat up automatically from the water that's hot that's going down there if you're taking a shower, and it will automatically do that. But the appendages are very important to heat up first. And when you're a warlock, you're better off if you heat your fingers up in the shower the first thing, and then get in the rest, and then do everything else like a normal person. When you're a warlock, your conduit energies come from your toes and your fingers, and they mesh and push outside your brain. Once they do that, you can kind of like a burr does on your pants. When you're walking through weeds, it will stick to some extra higher power outside of yourself. Now, it's not on them. It's kind of like at their border. It's at their border, their periphery. But it's still, nonetheless, it's at the exterior of the entity, which is like having a burr stuck to your pants or your socks or something. So once you do, and that is one of the main reasons why, is because you only work as a conduit with your fingers and your toes. And the way extraterrestrials will enter you into a paralysis status is the same way. They will control you from fingertips and toes. Now, most people aren't going to realize it. Some systems are different than others. You won't be able to realize it, but some systems are pretty obvious when when they need to abduct you on site with a UFO nearby, I guess, if you want to put it that way. What they'll do is uh, they'll they'll come and get you at night, but they have to place you in a post-processed staging area of condition before they can, like, let's say, for instance, move you through a wall and stuff like that. So they're prepping your body, kind of like you'd marinate something overnight. They're prepping you so that you can get through the wall, but it's pretty quick for them. In our linear time, it probably only takes about less than a minute for that to take place, but it goes through your fingers and your toes. It kind of feels like somebody pouring molasses on your fingers and your toes, and it goes down, seeps towards your midriff. Once you feel it land in your midriff, it's complete. You're ready to go. And then you can get moved through matter. So that's how the extraterrestrials do that. That is one of their technologies. Being a warlock is a technology in itself. It's a biological extension, but it is also just as cool as regular technology. Unfortunately, we're kind of more or less disposable in the sense that we are kind of like fucking just like flesh and water. I mean, pretty much water. And just we don't really have a component of safety other than our supposed intelligence. So the only way to do that is to become a warlock. Now, the reason why there's only 46 here is because most people, and I just found this out, don't know how to become a warlock. And most witches do not know how to be witches. However, they have convinced themselves in any other way you may want to consider it logistically a delusionary state, which is only supported by supposed books of yesteryear and stuff like that, and knowledge from the past. Well, knowledge from the past is augmented, it's also shifted, it's also decided what is allowed to be published and what is not. Same with media. The media is the ultimate censor. They're not just starting to censor, they always have. Now, of course, the CIA was in on it in the back in the day. You know, they would spy on all the anchors and make this and that. You know, it was part of one of their drives and one of their things they were working on at the time, a psyops, if you will. But it was more or less, make sure certain things aren't allowed to get out on the media, and we're here to make sure of that. And so the CIA had that fucking job. I think it was called Project Mockingbird. But the point is this, every life form has a part warlock in them. They just do not know how to accentuate it for real. One of the things is you're not allowed as a warlock to show magic. I'll just reiterate this. You're not really allowed to show magic. What you are allowed to do, and you're really not allowed to boast either. Okay, you're not allowed to boast about something you did. So like if I did something and I was proud of it, I couldn't come out and say it because I would get put in the corner with my dunce hat. That's how it is. And when I say that, I'm not talking about classes, warlock classes, okay? These entities don't have really any interest in you, but they do like a result. So they do know what discipline is, and if you fuck up, they will abandon you for a day, maybe even, which is pretty good punishment if you're a warlock. Another thing is you can abandon yourself from being a warlock. Just go back to what it was like when you weren't a warlock, and you'll automatically jump out of it. And that's what I do to use my normal creativity. If I was to use any warlock creativity to make some of the things I do, then you would definitely see magic, which isn't allowed. So another thing is people will make claims that they can do this or they can do that, and they never provide it. Well, people will make claims that's an automatic red flag because we're not allowed to boast about stuff that we do. Matter of fact, the military and other echelons of secrecy and security that go even higher than our planet are always watching the humans to see which ones have not only like Lawnmower Man just gone completely fucking astray from what his normal condition was. They have to monitor that shit because some people will come along and make really stuff happen that is pretty much not allowed. It's just too much quick advancement, and it's proof that that person there was a warlock. Tesla was a warlock. And Tesla was pretty much just, his career was ruined because he was a warlock. And warlocks are like that. They can think outside themselves. Now, I had heard somebody on somebody else's YouTube live stream, which was a good one. I do like his live stream. Just kill some time and listen to other people talk and stuff. One lady was saying, you got to learn how to do everything from yourself. And I was like, and she's supposed to be like really extra smart, but I'm like, no, that's not how it is. Matter of fact, she sounds like a shill because you're not supposed to say anything that you are capable of is all condensed inside you. As a warlock, you're not allowed to say that because it's Boulder Dash. Okay, it's fucking Boulder Dash. You actually have to extend your brain outside of yourself just to fucking do things that are unusually different and inclined. Most people would think that you must be a genius when in reality you had just been downloaded with information as a gift. That's a warlock. So even Einstein may have been a form of warlock. I'm not really supposed to know who the prior warlocks are or the current ones. I'm not really supposed to know because it's kind of also against the rules. It's not even lax. It's pretty much a rule. You're not really supposed to know the warlocks around because they're not trying to start other kinds of higher echelon escalations of making a point or anything like that, because when you're a warlock, that can get out of hand. And most of our power is derived while we're sleeping, and most of our conjures are done then, and they're articulated properly at night while we're sleeping. But during the daytime, it's hard to do that while you're doing things in social environments. So to make mini conjures during the day, which is something I do, it's way easier. So I just make mini conjures or like band-aids that get me through the day. Because a lot of things I do, I'm a distortion time warlock, which means I manipulate time while I'm sleeping, while everyone else is sleeping. And when they wake up, they don't realize certain things occurred that they weren't aware of. And, coordinated my day for the next day as well so that I don't have like what I would refer to as an issue or something like that. So, and also, people want to know, well, what is exactly a warlock? Well, it's like a genie. It's like a genie. A genie, in Arabic, genie. I don't know what the name. I think that may be just a name they gave it over here. But the reason why a genie has to be released from a container is because he's temporarily in jail. Now he's temporarily in jail because he broke rules. He's a warlock that breaks rules. There are such things. Now, the reason why they are contained is because they actually are quite, exceptional warlocks, and they're considered dangerous. And so they have to bottle them, but they don't bottle them permanently, because if they were to bottle them permanently, the genies have some kind of other thing that they can create to cause havoc outside of their demise. So never try to kill a genie, just bottle it temporarily. It might last 100 years, it might last 500 years. Now, when people say, well, is it true you come and rub a lamp and the genie comes out? No. The containment areas for those things are specialized. They're underground, and they're for entities that have reached heights and are rebellious. Now, when I say rebellious, do I mean decadent? No, just rebellious. Like they're fucking don't like the other system, so they want to do it their way. It's kind of like a grown-up spoiled brat. So that's how it is, guys. When you're a warlock, you learn these things, and when I communicate, I don't talk to these entities. I can ask them questions in my language. They can understand it. I mean, they can understand me. However, to get their attention, you have to be very observant to keep them attentive towards you. Because if you're not exceptionally observant, they will see that you're slipping from your higher self. So, like being awake while I'm sleeping, I have to kind of like a wake side over here and my sleeping side here. And the wake side is just in case I need to wake, I can wake quicker than normal. So, because I have to see visually what's around me at that time. So Warlock has to pay attention, is an extremely good observer. Warlock doesn't shy away from every kind of pareidolia. If it exists through visual, it could mean something else, and something else is trying to orient your thought waves by projecting various implanted images in your visual, whether it be on a TV screen or out in nature, but you do not know it, kind of like the same way we use subliminal messages in advertising back in the day. And I'm sure they've brought that back to life because I see it all the time. And so, you always have these other forces. Now, none of them are verified warlocks. They're just learning how to be a warlock. They never quite get there. They get maybe 25% of the way there as a warlock, and then they fail because they don't exactly realize that it's an individual independent thing. You can't, and you got to do it while you're sleeping. See, now the ones that do know this are enlightened, but doesn't mean they're enlightened enough to become the warlock. Some of them realize that there's certain conditions as, anything, and they're probably unacceptable. Like, for instance, trying to communicate with entities that don't speak a language you're familiar with. That is enough to frustrate most people from becoming a warlock. They actually, they don't give you signs or anything like that, but once in a while they do. Once in a while they'll throw you a sign, just it's their form of sarcasm. But most of the time you have to gather their vibe, which is outside of you. And when you reach it, sometimes depending on what zone or what accolation, location, dimension it's coming from, it will be direct because they're somehow interested enough to be near this hub. So they will be able to be contacted. They may not answer, just like anybody. that's how it is. As a warlock, I'm almost at 15 minutes. I just want to make sure I got that out.